A very good evening to all who joined us live, and greetings of the day who will watch us later. Thank you for taking out your time on Sunday to e-meet with us on Community Pe Charcha panel discussion. Today, we will talk about some common community questions which have been asked by our members and attendees. We will also pick your questions, so feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. Without much ado, I would like to invite our first panelist, Biswajeet Mallik, a die-hard Liverpool fan. He is a program manager at Google and managing developer relations team. Welcome, Biswajeet.
Hi, hi, Krishna. Thanks for introducing.
Now I'm excited to have Siddhant Agarwal, who is managing the Developer Student clubs and Google Developer Experts programs in India at Google. Welcome, Siddhant.
Hi everyone, hi Krishna.
Next up, we have Saurabh Rajpal, who is the web ecosystem consultant at Google. Welcome, Saurabh.
Hello everyone, excited to be here.
Once again, thank you for joining us. Moving forward, I welcome Rij Raj, our organizer of GDG Jalandhar, to start and moderate our panel discussion. Over to you, Rij.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time. So let's start the community Pe Charcha. So this question is for all of you. Tell us little about yourself. Who want to take start?
Biswa like rose his hand, I think, slightly. So
All right.
both hands now.
Yeah, so my name is Biswajeet Mallik. I am from like a East Indian city called Bhubaneswar. Hopefully, many of you should have heard about it. I studied there till my end of engineering. I moved to Indore for my MBA. After that, I've been at Google for last 7 years in different type of roles. Apart from, so I'm like more or less very comfortable working in the tech side of things as a program manager, product manager, that sort of role, which I have done for last 4 or 5 years. My interest areas are like, as someone has introduced, I like football, both playing and watching Liverpool. I'm also interested in just in general how tech and public policy intersect and how tech will shape, I think, the future of humanity and so on and so forth. So those are some of the interest areas that I like to study more. Yeah, I think that should be enough, I guess. Out of 1 to 5, how much you would rate that introduction, Saurabh?
Yeah.
6. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Siddhant.
Sure. Hello everyone, my name is Siddhant. I come from Delhi, the capital of India. I've been in the industry for more than 5 years. I did my graduation earlier from Dehradun, from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Computer Science Engineering. Went on to work with IBM, then with Be Ahead, then with Google. With my industry experience, I've been closely related with communities since my college days, and that's where my passion lies in community building. Also, being a technologist, I enjoy understanding new technology. Uh, how does design play a role in community in technology? Also, like how next billion user products are developed. Those are some of the things. Startup ecosystem excites me. Public speaking, and also the intersection of education and technology. So I've been into like a tech space for more than like 3 years now, and that's what I've been passionate about. So what's the rating?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Fred.
0.
Sorry.
Okay, going next. So I'm Saurabh Rajpal. Hi everyone. I work as a web ecosystem consultant at Google. I roughly have around 8.5 to 9 years of industry experience, and I've worked across stacks, across technologies, be it the back end or the front end. Even on the front end, I've worked on majorly on Android, and now I'm working as a web ecosystem consultant, so web as well. I've been born and brought up in Delhi, and then completed my education in Manipal, down south. We had a common saying, "Hi, I'm Manipal, and I'm not in Sikkim," because Sikkim Manipal used to advertise a lot, but Manipal University didn't. But yeah, Manipal University is amongst the top five. But yeah, anyway, not going into that direction at all. Not trying to justify myself that I'm also from a good college. But yeah, I think I do go from the tagline that, hey, not from IIM, not from IIT, still in Google, something like that. And yeah, I like to have fun around, and I'm also working as a 20%er in the ecosystem development team. That means I'd only get the 20% chances of irritating Biswa, unlike Siddhant and others. So yeah, that's it. More when we speak on the other one.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this wonderful answer. So next up, you all have been a part of the community since here. So what do you think is the best part to be with such like-minded people? Anyone want to answer?
I think we should rotate, no? So maybe in this time, Siddhant or Saurabh.
I can like quickly give my 2 cents on this. Being with the community with these like-minded people, the best part is like the way it connects everyone together. I have seen this from my experience since again from the college days when I was part of the GSA program, Google Fund Ambassador program with GDG. Throughout my professional journey, which has gone through a lot of ups and downs, one thing that has remained constant throughout has been the community. Like, I've been connected with this like some few folks in the community throughout this entire journey. GDG New Delhi or GDG Cloud New Delhi. Like I've been volunteering with HR Network Foundation. So some of the folks out there have been connected, and now it has become like more of my personal network, more of my like from personal network now it has become to more of professional network as well. So that connection, that connecting people part is something that I really enjoy and really find this as a value in community, working together with this like-minded people. And also from a sheer fact that all of them come together not to get anything in return, but to give back. Like always a factor of like how to give back more and more to the community, and not to take from it. No expectations of any returns, just to like give out whatever knowledge you have, or like introduce more folks to each other. Those kind of things.
Okay, I'll go next because
Sorry,
Biswa
do you
said
want to
that
add
he'll go
anything
last.
from
Yeah.
your
So I think it's not only about three of us being part of the community. Since yes, I think right from the day one when the person is born, they are part of some community or the other, and I think that speaks a lot about the essence of the word community. If you think of it that way, I think what brings all of us together is a likeness that we have for the particular common topic. Be it then you can be part of a fan club, say Liverpool fan club, and that's one community, and that's about it. So similarly, I think nothing can beat to be surrounded by the like-minded people, because I think everything resonates, right from your thoughts to even the things that you want to learn or grow upon. And I think as Siddhant mentioned, I think we all have been very lucky to come across some of the best folks in the communities now, who are not only part of our professional networks but also the personal network. Like I really like to talk to those people. Whenever I get time, I do call them up. We have chat. They ping me. They talk with me, and we have fun. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Vishwa, you want to?
मतलब almost सारे all points are covered. So, but yeah, I will add. Yeah. So if you talk about tech communities, I haven't like I'm not like as experienced as other people in this forum. I when I was growing up, when I studied engineering, the concept of communities was not there, if I remember, and or maybe I was not into that ecosystem or that zone. But yeah, like what Saurabh said, right? The concept of community has been there for everywhere. If you form like a debate club in your college, that's also a community. And I think the best part about that, and what I have experienced, is like After some time, if you are regular in some community, and I think a lot of things depend, right? Like how, like your loyalty towards that community, how dedicated you are, and how much you care about other people. I think there is like the interest part which brings people together, but then there is this human part which keeps them together. The interest part doesn't always stay. I think that human part, how much people care for each other, that part becomes more important, and that part brings different type of benefits. Like for example, I think I have been into many this type of community which are not exactly tech, but maybe like football groups, or like right now we are playing, a bunch of people are playing in badminton in the morning, and so that becomes like a smaller community. And I mean, people talk about other things, like, hey, I am having this challenge at my job, and there are some things which you can talk to other people, but you find different type of people to talk about it. I mean, like those emotional elements of it, and they become like a family outside of family, and where I think maybe your family cannot empathize with, I think, the kind of challenge that you are going at work, but maybe someone in your community can, and I think that makes a lot of difference. They might not solve for it, but they might give you a shoulder to cry upon, or maybe they might cheer for you whenever I think I mean, things are all right and things are going good for you. So I think that makes a lot of difference. I really look forward to that element in a community, and when that happens, that's a sign of the community which is like great. It might be small, but they're in together. They care for each other. They're there for each other.
Yeah, truly, strongly agree. For me, community is just like as a networking. We can learn together, we can share together, we can build some solution for the community that can be helpful and useful. So next question is for the Biswajeet. You are managing the communities in India. So what your suggestion is to newbie if he or she is interested to be part of any XYZ community?
Sure. I have to rectify once for the first statement. I think I am not managing the communities in India. That's like super. Basically, I'm the program manager for developer community programs by Google in India. What that mean is like Google as a company really believes in open source and believes in the power of communities, tech communities, and we have put together a program where we help communities like GDG Jalandhar be successful in their own mission and objective. So my job and like my team's job is to make sure, I think, communities like GDG Jalandhar and other GDGs and other non-GDG communities as well, they become successful. So management is not the word. So I just wanted to put that at the start. What's your suggestion to a newbie? So my answer to that would be, if you are a, let's say, so let me also define the newbie, right? So is it newbie to a technology, or newbie to a community, or newbie to the concept of community? Both are different things. So I would say, if you are new to a technology, it's a different thing altogether, and you don't need a community to succeed all the time. Also, like, let that be there as well. So community is not like if you are not a part of a tech community, you are going to fail miserably. That's not the thing. Second is, if you are new to community, I have to ask that why you are it's like joining a community. I mean, that purpose and that question has to be crystal clear. If a person cannot come and say, "Hey, I want to join a community because I like community," that's the wrong approach. Let's say, I would say, if you are interested in technology or anything, if you are interested to like uh, even like, well, let's say chess as a community, there would be definitely a chess community, virtual community, or whatever. You can just go and say, I am interested in chess community. You should be interested in chess, and you must have done something a little bit, like you are little experienced and interested, and so on and so forth. And after some time, you figure out why I need a community. And different people's need are different. Like, some people need are like to join the communities, like they want to learn. Some people's need to join a communities, like they want to showcase the projects, or maybe meet like-minded people. Different people's motivations are different, right? So let's say, for example, when I joined, let's say, football club, I probably want to learn a little more, but some other person wants to say, hey, I want to play regular football, right? So ask that question to yourself. If you are a newcomer to a community or whatever, ask that, what is the purpose for me? And then join a community which reflects that vision, and where you would be welcome to try out those things. Because I'll give an example. Let's say there is a community of football players who are playing, but they are like really, really good. If I go there, They would not enjoy it. I would not enjoy it because they want to practice like high quality football. I want to learn. I am not great at like them. So I need to go to another club where I think they're like similar caliber players like me or a little more than that, so that they can challenge me. If I directly go there, it's a misfit of cultures and everything. Even though our interests are same, so just interest being same is not enough. So think about those things. Ask yourself the honest question of why do you want to join the community. Then figure out. Sorry, long answer.
No. Thank you. Awesome. Great. So moving forward, this question is for Siddhant. As you're looking up to the DSC program in India, so may you please talk in details about the program and how it benefiting to the scholar?
Sure. So if the folks out there, if you have not heard of DSC program, DSC basically stands for Developers to Employees. This is not just a program in India, it's a global program out there, a university-based program. So think of it like when you are at the university, you are joining a DSC program. So there will be some DSC leads who are managing the clubs of the campus. And then you have GDG program that is out there for a wider audience, a professional audience. So primarily for the students who are at the university, undergrad students or graduate students, this is the program for them, connecting folks to grow as a developer. Who are interested in like Google's developer technology. They primarily like build solutions for local businesses and the community. They talk about technology, they do sessions, they grow their knowledge in a peer-to-peer learning environment. If I talk about like we have 1,000+ leads, basically 1,000+ DSC clubs across 95 countries in 2020. In India alone, we have 275 leads from 120 plus cities. So it's a proud moment for all of us that we have a presence in more than 275 campuses in India across the nation. Um, how does it really benefit the scholars? So the leads or the students who are part of the DSC clubs, they get to learn new technology, or if they are already working on the technology, they get to get an environment to build solutions. So there's a one interesting concept of like mentoring people through their learning journey, that and bridging the gap between the theory and practice. That's what DSC program talks about. I can give you a lot of examples out there. The DSC leads have done an amazing job in basically coming up with inspiring solutions. For example, in a last year batch of DSC program, there was a student, there was a DSC lead from DSC VIT called named Samar. He built a platform for Vellore Police. Vellore is a place in Tamil Nadu to help secure the elections in over 10 districts. This entire application, the platform he built, it not only helped the Vellore police in like securing the elections, of course, but also resulted in DIC VIT, the institute and the club, inspiring professors in the university to learn Flutter from the students. So that was one really interesting inspiration. Another one I could quote from Hastu. Hastu was part of DSC program in Indonesia, not from India. She decided to join a workshop to learn more about Android, and she attended a workshop led by DSC lead. Her name is Tessia. So Tessia mentioned that Hastu during her Android journey, like she mentored her. She like Hastu joined a project team. She built her first app to help blind students. That's an interesting part. Now the another interesting thing when Tessia shared this story with us was that she mentioned that Hastu couldn't become a developer because she was deaf, and she thought like she can't become a developer, she can't pursue her learning journey. But instead, it turned out that she could learn Android, she could continue her developer journey. So that's one really amazing thing. Talk about how DSC leads and this DSC program is creating impact on campus, helping students learn technology and not just learn technology, implement them and build solutions that benefit the local community and the ecosystem around them.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Siddhant. So next we have question for Saurabh. We have web enthusiasts in today in this session. So may you throw some light on what are the various things or tools available in the web tech industries?
Okay, glad to know we do have web enthusiasts. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
So I think what are the various things, tools? I think if you talk about web, I think it's way vaster than anybody can think of any technology, because you have, say, tons of frameworks which a lot of developers like to use. You have tons of other things that you can learn. You of course have tons of CMSs as well, content management systems, which a lot of not so tech savvy people also use. And I think web has been kind of a go-to tool for one and all, irrespective of what they're trying to build. Even if somebody have, say, just web app or like Android application or native applications on top of their mind, they still need a lot need web to drive a lot of traffic onto all those things. So I think there's a lot of things that you need to learn, and it can depend on what kind of motivation you may have. But I still say that one thing that people can start doing to get more clarity around what should be their end goal when they're talking about web or thinking about building things with web, they can learn more about, and this is my personal opinion, they can start learning about how the Lighthouse tool works. Because what Lighthouse does, it really gives you the segmentation around how your website really is, in terms of speed, in terms of SEO, in terms of accessibility, in terms of how good it is with respect to a web application, not just a website, if you understand that difference. So I think with that narration in mind, if you start focusing or channelizing your energies around learning those things one by one, you would be able to succeed. As far as tools are concerned, so I would say there are tons of tools which Google itself provides, for example, and documentation as well. I think one of the key things for learning web is to follow the official documentation, be it any kind of tool or be it any framework. Talking of, say, SEO, you have webmasters provided by Google, which has tons of articles, tons of tools, references to tools which you can use when you're even developing your website, not even live. So you can bring that onto your development stack. And I'm a big fan of web.dev, because on web.dev there is a lot of focus being put in by a lot of Google developers, and also a lot of community contributors as well, in a way, where they talk about the best practices, they talk about the best tools that they can use. So I think as a web developer, in a nutshell, go to web.dev, do learn about Lighthouse, do read about a lot of SEO stuff as well, which is available on Webmasters Console. And this is more to do with, say, a journey. But once you become more advanced, you can talk about build tools, you can talk about newer frameworks, or machine level languages, like somebody was just writing about WebAssembly, so I can see that. So this all comes at a later stage. I definitely see a lot of value being put in the WebAssembly, but I think we can take that up later as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, web.dev is one of the best resources for the web developer to learn more about web technologies. We did things are coming in the web area of web technologies. So next, we have a questions for Siddhant. What will be the effect of the community on individual, be it tech or non-tech community?
It's an interesting one. So when you say effect of community, it's like just to be clear over here, it's more about how when as an individual they're part of the community, they can think of a larger impact. But when they are joining any community, be it tech or non-tech community, and as this was said also, like there are football fans, there are like football communities, there are non-tech. Like I have seen books, like book lovers community. They read books, they do this book reading session kind of thing. Or like there are writers communities, they write articles or like whatever they have written, they just like share it across like poems and stuff. Or be it tech communities, like we talk about very specific tech specific communities, like Android specific or web specific or machine learning specific communities. One thing that really helps an individual whenever they're part of this community is to grow as a future leader. Like like more of like kind of implicit that happens. Uh, they 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 just like when they see like a lot of people are giving back, they also like sometime later they just step up the ladder and they just want to like give back as well. When they see others giving back, so they also step up and give back to the community. So they grow as a leader. Another impact of community on an individual is it's about like uh, sharing their learnings. We have seen like GitHub as an open source platform in community as well. That culture thrives. Like I'm talking about tech community over here. My most of my engagement has been with tech, so I can talk more from that perspective. So they talk about like how what mistakes like they just share, and if they have made any mistakes or there are some bugs in the tool and the platform, it helps. Like the community helps in resolving those bugs or make like improvising on a product. So that's another effect of community on an individual. It not on an individual alone. It's more about the work that everyone is together coming and doing something for a larger good. So two things majorly, like one is like inspiring others to learn and then build, and another is to grow as a future leader. These are like two things that I can think of. And a community creates an impact on an individual. This was sort of feel free to like chime in and add if you have any thoughts about tech or non-tech community from your perspective.
Yeah.
I think you have taken a broader umbrella when you talk about developing as a leader, because I think a lot of people just understand being a leader as, say, attaining some manager position or some head position kind of a thing. But I think management is not about just that, or leader is not just about that. I think there are nitty gritties attached to leadership, and one of the biggest things is the inclusiveness, the team culture. Right, when you're a leader, the way you organically become a leader is when you are more inclusive towards things, and I think that's only possible once you are part of a community. You are hearing out what other people are saying, because even in a development cycle, the key to any company success or any product success lies in the way that product is adopted, and the only way it can be adopted is by giving them what they want, and the only way you can deliver what they want is by listening out to them and getting their feedback. So I think inclusivity is something which I think is the biggest effect which community brings to a person.
Let's one to
I
that.
can like basically three things it happens. One, it improves your trade. That trade might be you if you're a developer, you are a football player, you are a book writer, or whatever. It improves your trade. Second, it has a lasting impression on your personality and value system, because I think from the community you take. I mean, your home is also a community, sort of, right? Like there are people inside, and your value system gets created from your parents, from your siblings, from your neighborhood, and then neighbors, and so on and so forth. So a community also has a lasting impression on your personality and value system. For example, I have been in Google for 7 years, and many of my traits are shaped by what Google stands for. So that's second. And third is it gives you a family. And I think I am saying this, if these three things happens, if you stay with a community for longer, if you're just like in and out, nothing happens. But if you are staying at some place for a longer period of time, these three things would happen.
I
A share.
really like the third point of getting a family. So I can think about like whenever I am in a different city, other than my base location in Bangalore or my hometown in Delhi, I know like there would be someone in that particular city that I can like reach out to, connect to, meet, just to hang out, be it through the developer communities that I have engaged with or with the startup community that I've been part of from my personal front. So that like family bond, like that personal connect, your network across the nation or like across the globe is something that really helps an individual to understand like okay, there is a family out there for you as well.
I was just like, I know this has taken a lot of time, but I just wanted to add that I was expecting Biswa to add his shameless plug here about his blog, which he didn't. I have read his blog, Biswa KPL, and if you want to know why it's called Biswa KPL and why it is like, why he, what kind of person, like the Biswa, the kind of person he is today, you can go and read about it on his blog, and you'll get to understand what he was talking about when he was mentioning about the three traits.
Also, why the name KPL is there?
Why the
Oh,
KPL?
Yeah.
that's really
Really.
good.
There's a good long blog on that also. Why
Yeah.
the name
Yeah.
KPL?
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. So next question is for Saurabh. how to take a maximum benefit from the tech communities and also do our best to contribute.
I think people who are willing to contribute, right, they realize it pretty early in their journey. I think whosoever I've met, I've just asked them, where do you get this quest from of helping others or like contributing to or having that intent of giving back. I think it starts right from like even as a kid, if you liked teaching people or clearing their doubts, even in college, if you're part of some tech clubs or any kind of clubs where you just wanted to organize things so that it can benefit, not so that you can earn a certificate, which holds no value. Trust me, in real life, those certificates hold no value. But I think what it really brings up is like even if your intent is bad of getting that certificate, let me put it that way, the thing that you would have learned on the journey is how to organize things, how to give it back. Really, what are the really needs or real needs of the people? So I think one of the if there are some college students who are hearing me out, personal opinion: be a mid bencher. By mid bencher, I mean like not a front bencher, not a back bencher. Mid benchers have the benefit of be friends with the front benchers so that they can take the notes, and then they have the benefit of teaching it to the backbenchers. So that's the first way you can start contributing. And I think when you talk about the professional level stuff, I'm a big fan of Stack Overflow because it is one community which has given I think answers to a lot of questions which each of the developers go through, and it really shows you the power of the community. I think one of the questions which I commonly get asked when I'm talking about web is which framework to choose. I think while I say that I can't go into the nitty gritty of each of the frameworks and why you should choose this over that, one of the things which I generally say is look at the community it has, because just think of it very rationally. If documentation or the just the over the top learning was everything about a particular thing, then nobody would ever have doubts. I think doubts really come when you are working on that thing, and if you have doubts, you would need to ask that, and who would help you? Somebody on Stack Overflow, which is part of that community. So definitely start contributing on Stack Overflow. I think a lot of people have a lot of like they're scared to contribute on GitHub because of the way GitHub works. Some people don't really get that part, and they're also afraid of whether somebody would judge by the kind of commits they're making. I think to begin with, to get rid of that psychological pushback, you can start by contributing by raising issues. For example, if you're working on Angular, just saying, and you think that there is something which is not part of that framework yet, you could just create a issue of, like a small bug or a feature request, and that could just benefit thousands of other people who might face this issue later on. So I think yeah, I think two key takeaways would be Stack Overflow and contribution, minimal contribution to in GitHub. And I think we're talking about the platforms. I really feel that LinkedIn is very badly used in India. People have a very wrong mindset about LinkedIn being a place just for reaching out to people for referring. I think it really gives you a strong forming that community, like following like-minded people, befriending like-minded people, and learning from people while they're sharing their learnings. Because you can write long blogs and stuff like that. It also stays there for longer. So that's why I think I rate LinkedIn in that sense higher than Twitter in that sense, because Twitter is very like at that very moment and then just loses. But I think LinkedIn post stays for longer and you can have continuous discussions there. But it has to be used wisely in India, I say.
Awesome. Thank you, Saurabh. So next question is for everyone. Like community is all about helping people and connecting with them. So is there any incident in your life which will do justice to this statement? Maybe Vishwa, you can start.
Community is all about. Let me think. If anyone has like ready-made answers, go ahead. Let me just give me like a second to think.
So anyone? Saurabh, said.
I think there won't be just one.
I think there was one incident where Sid was talking about how he was lost in a particular city and somebody just came to rescue, and he could really catch the train that day. So I think that's one part.
Said you can.
Sid, you can talk
there?
more about that,
Brother.
the way you explained it to us.
I
Which one was that? Like,
I was talking to someone very recently for something else, and I mean, like, I won't tell his name. He was a part of one of the tech communities. I wouldn't name the community just to keep it unbiased and not to advertise for anything if people might think about it. But yeah, like so.
Nation wants to know. Somebody's writing in the comments.
Sorry.
Nation wants to know.
Yeah. No, all right. So yeah, this person was from like a smaller city in Kerala, and he was building something. He was building like he had built a couple of solutions, and like um, but when he joined the community, he said it was a very humbling moment for him. So like many times, and I have also felt it before, right? So I mean, now I think the divide between tier two, tier three cities, education and access to things, and tier one cities is very less now, thanks to internet penetration and things like that. But it was not that maybe 10 years before, right? It was like we have all seen it. So like for me also, like internet came to my home in my third year of engineering. I had like my computer in my second year of engineering, so access was an issue. But in general, if you do something, and like I was building like a Orkut clone at that time, and I was like, yeah, I can do this thing, so I can be like a software engineer at Google or something like that, right? So but these are like a very silly stuff. You just like I was doing with PHP and like MySQL and something like that. I don't like remember. Like many people might think about that, right? But yeah, like this, what this person was saying is like it was a very humbling moment. So he felt he was feeling a lot good that he was inventing a lot of these things. He was creating a lot of these things, but the quality. When he came and interacted with GDG, he felt that okay, this is nothing. Like, and I think that brought a sense of like self discovery, as well as that gave him a platform to understand the broader scope of like what's happening in the tech world, and what's actually like what is basic, what is intermediate, and what is advanced. And that helped me a lot. I think he said he did not get discouraged, but that gave me definitely humbling moment, but also gave me a lot of like confidence to go forward, because he could see other people like him doing the same thing in his GDG and in his ecosystem. So that was something which I found it very very interesting, that how everyone say, hey, I joined GDG, things happen, but like getting humbled and also getting encouraged to pursue that even further was something which I really liked in that story. There are like a lot of other stories about like how people have created things which have had lasting impact and so on. Another story was last year, I think this got also featured in a YouTube video. There is this a guy called Amay from GDG Pune. He's a student. He was building like a solution for people who can't hear with like an Android device powered by Android. So that was like really really nice. I think how someone can understand the problem which he's not seeing every day. He went to some place, he saw it, some people who are like really struggling with it, and then took some action that, hey, I want to solve it, and resolved it to solve. So there are like many problems, many stories also like that, where people have built things outside of things that they see. It's like we come across a lot of e-commerce idea every day, which is fine. I'm not downplaying the e-commerce ideas, but we don't see that many ideas which are solving for like that 1% or 2% of the people. So yeah, these are some of the things which I have come across in recent times.
Anyone want to share their experience?
Oh, I thought Biswa took a lot of time. So we were moving to next question.
Okay. Yeah.
That is true. Sorry, I need to cut down my.
No, nothing like that. I think there is no particular incident as such, which, to be very honest, I think, yes, it is all about helping people. And that happens when you connect with them. And There have been many incidents in that way, like where if I've had some doubts, for example, like if I'm working on Android application, just for saying, but I met somebody, I know that he's a good Android developer. I could reach out to him. I could ask for help, and otherwise I would have never had that chance, right? And similar, I think it's a two-way thing. A lot of time, like a lot of time when we meet developers over these meetups and stuff like that, they say that the reason that they love communities is also because this is open channel for them to reach out to so many people that they thought were not tangible, were not reachable. Like even if you talk about Googlers, right? They are able to talk, and not keeping Googlers at top of the stack, but I think just talking about the general notion which people have, and they it helped in myth busting that even Googlers can be fun, they can be talked with. So I think it's all helping people in some way or the other.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. So next question is for like what was your reaction when event moved online? Any challenges which you face and how to manage them?
Shouldn't that be a question from us to you?
Yeah, but it's a kind of management.
Let Bridge answer this.
Yeah, I
Bridge
think this,
disconnected.
Yeah. For me, it's like online activities are very easy to host. Like anyone can join from XYZ location and no need to worry about the venue or place. So we can connect with each and every person with easily with the help of internet. That's it. So anyone?
I think my only reaction was how would people really meet each other, because I think apart from just attending the sessions, people used to connect a lot as well, right? Even in those breaks and stuff like that. That I think kind of has pushed back, but I think the other positive things that brings along, like anybody can attend any city's event. There's tons of things happening which people used to have FOMO about, right? All those things have been taken care of. So I think, yeah, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है, typical film line. So
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
mean,
Awesome.
I would say
Yeah.
it came in waves. I mean, like I think when COVID started, it also well, like event was not exactly the first thing was on mind of anyone like in this for like before a year. I think the initial reaction was like I can tell about my initial reaction was like, oh shit, like we have to do this for this 21-day lockdown and things like that, right? And nobody knew the severity of like what COVID is going to do and what exactly how this will eventually like unfold and then the situation that we are right now in. But like initially it's like you just being selfish and saying I have to be at home for this thing and I can. And honestly, like our like mostly the my life for last 2 years has been traveling a lot, so I was kind of like used to that life. Uh, so that was like initial halt, but people were okay with it. Okay, like the 21 days, we'll just like yeah, we'll finish it, and then I remember right. I think we'll just like use our क्या था kitchen का जो चीजें अकला के like we will celebrate and I think lockdown is over and I think things are good. But after that, a small sense of euphoria. And if I look at, I think most of the event, and I have spoken to many GDG organizations also, in the initial first 1 or 2 months, people were optimistic about, I think, moving to online, the ease of things, and all those things, right? When I think it became longer, and it's almost 7 months now, right? So over like by 2 3 months mark, like the logistics part is fine, it's okay, and I think once in a while if you do something new you like it, but when things when then you will miss the previous things. So by 3 months mark, like people are still at home, they are like their mobility is restricted, and a lot of like psychological uh, you know problems started happening, like the fear of jobs, the fear of uncertainty of employment, the fear of finance, having enough money for we don't know what's next, and so on and so forth. So I mean, like that resulted in I think people's whether they organized things or whether they participated in things, and that reflected in all of our like life, both work and personal, and we all have struggled in last 6 months. Like we have to acknowledge that. So yeah, I mean, there are logistically this is good, but I would say I mean, like, I really want it to, I mean, like, the old days to come back as soon as possible, to be honest.
And I think one last thing which I would like to add is, on top of what Biswa said, we need to have that as like community managers or even the organizers, right? I think there has to be a mindset shift in the way we look at the success of the events. For example, there was a lot of, like, when we talked about the events in physical, right? How many attendees attended? I think that cannot be directly translated onto a web world. It's a similar kind of analogous transition, how things are moving from, say, typical TV viewing to OTT platforms, and how people are watching Kyunki Saji Kabhi Bahuti on OTT platform, not on TV now. Just saying. Similar to that, because it's on demand, right? So you can't say that, okay, if I'm holding a stuff between 4 to 5 on a Sunday evening, how many people attended, and that's where my success lies. No, I think the quality should be the first criteria, and then eventually it will grow with word of mouth, people looking at it at their own will. So I think that's a mindset change which is required. But yeah, big plus one to like going back to the physical things as well, if possible.
One thing I really like about the physical events is the networking, the time to meet new people. I think for me personally, like I used to go to a lot of events and stuff, and that's where when things moved online, my reaction was like, why is this happening? I want to go back to that, going and meeting new people, and I think again from if you bifurcate an event experience from an organizer standpoint and then from an audience standpoint, like organizers, yes, of course, the event organizing has become smoother, the logistic overhead has reduced, but from an audience standpoint, when it comes to getting an experience better, like plus one to Viswa, like there has been a mindset shift, but at the same time, I kind of like miss that personal touch where we meet new people, where we interact with them, have that networking out there. Also, like another aspect of events is speakers, the content. I do a lot of public speaking and talks and stuff. So that's one thing that I kind of like had to adapt now. I used to have that audience feedback, like live audience feedback whenever I'm giving a talk. I think speakers who used to go to these physical meetings had to also adapt themselves and move to an online world now, giving these webinars where the live audience touch is kind of like missing. All they have this is just like these comments out there. They can just like read through a live Q&A towards the end. But that initial audience feedback while they're delivering the talk is something that speakers also kind of like miss. And that's one of the challenges that I also feel I was kind of hesitant at the start to do these online talks, do these webinars and stuff, but now kind of adapted myself to that. Like I know it's the new normal, as we all say, so kind of managed it. At the same time, I think like organizers have also kind of adapted themselves that this is how it has to be. Or speakers have adapted themselves that okay, we have to give an online talk, so we have to prepare accordingly. And it is likewise for the audience as well. They are just like kind of okay with the live as well as an on-demand session kind of a thing.
Yeah, just a fun fact for Siddhant. Another reason why he wants physical activities is he was getting 500 followers per event. Now he just gets 5 with online. So that's another problem.
And he now needs followers.
I get more reach now as compared to earlier. I have to travel less and just sit at the home and do these sessions.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, all the best.
Yeah, good. So, next question is for Saurabh. Like working closely with the web developer ecosystem, can you help us with some trending technology, especially for startups?
Oh, that's a good one. Again, I think a lot of when people are talking about starting up with a website or something, people often get confused on which framework to begin with. So I think it depends a lot on the kind of history you've had, the kind of learning you've had, and each framework has a very different style. So I think read through the docs first, understand what exactly is your style. For example, I've seen a lot of, and there's a good study around it, like by Stack Overflow as well, where they understood that people who were working on, say, .NET are now more comfortable with Angular. Just saying, because it becomes a bit like it's similar in a way, and that's not me saying, it's more to do with how people have transitioned, and that's where you can take that decision by going through the docs and understanding which is your right kind of framework. And if you really want to like deploy and become full stack kind of a thing, I think Firebase for web is something which I'm really liking these days. Like Firebase generally, it is open for all, right, front end and back end. I think the beautiful thing is you don't really need to worry about which back end should I use. There is Firestore. You can start communicating with them. There is authentication. There are a lot of things which has been made easier. So I think especially when you talk about startups who need faster pace, I think go for full stack solutions like Firebase. And of course, like we have humongous community of the what do you call them, CMSs, the content management systems, who have become much more than just being a source of publishing articles. So you can definitely leverage some of the common ones like Drupal, WordPress, where there's a lot of good plugins officially supported by big orgs like Google as well now. So you can use those too.
Yeah, perfect, awesome, thank you. So next question is for Vishwa. Like being a global lead for the TensorFlow user community. So do you want to talk about the culture of the community outside the India?
Oh, okay. I think the culture of community closely resembles with a lot of things. Like eventually, community is a bunch of people, right? And I think those people, I mean, how they speak, act, behave, and all those things depends a lot on one, the culture they belong to. Second, their upbringing and like what has shaped their life. And third, I think the value systems and personalities and so on and so forth. So each of these three parameters change from country to country. So I think like there is like a lot of stereotypical also answers to how specific. I mean like different like I mean there are like I forgot there is a survey or there is like a tool where you can go and see what different cultures are in different mode. Like for example, I think in India the or India or South Asian cultures, people respect the respect increases with age, but that's not true for let's say other other cultures. Not necessarily that true. So I think all of those like cultural elements plays significant role in I think how different communities behave. Second, I think the interest. I mean, like for example, tools, right? Let's say in India, mostly I have seen people using Meetup, the traditional ones, Zoom, Hangout, Meet, YouTube. These are the things. But let's say you go to China, they have completely different tools to work with. Or to Korea, there are like completely different platforms they engage with because I think in Korea or China or Japan, they have, I mean, interest and affinity towards different platforms. So those are also tools and platforms will be different. The way like the culture and everything will be slightly different from region to region. Third would be I think timing and other things also differ. I am also talking about things before COVID as well. So, for example, in India, most of the meetups used to happen on weekends because weekdays is like it's too late. I mean, it's mostly if you are coming, like if you are doing like a weekday meetup in the evening in Bangalore, I think we'll start probably at 10 p.m. I guess because I mean you finish work, then you beat traffic to go to the place where meetup is happening and things like that. But usually, I think in other like in US, mostly I have seen the US or Australia and so on, the or Europe, the meetups usually happen on weekdays, weeknights. So you finish work, you go to a place, and then you have like 1 or 2 hours of meetup, and then you're done. People like really want their weekends for personal activities. So yeah, these are the things which I think people preferences, cultural nuances, the kind of tools and platforms which are interested there. These are the 3 or 4 things which are like variables for communities from India and everywhere else.
Yeah, thank you, Vishwa. So next question is for all of you. Like, what is that one advice you would give to the people listening, those who are listening to the discussion today? So, is there any advice you want to give?
Before that, I think this Abhinav has a question which has been asking for a long time. Should we answer this now or should we answer it later?
You can Now you can.
Yeah, it won't take like more than a minute. So the question is,
Yeah.
I am having like basically he wants to start a GDG and how can you start? So go to I think go to the developer.google.com/community /GDG. So you can know more about GDG program there. And I think there are two buttons: find a GDG chapter near you or lead a GDG. So if you want to just join a GDG which is in your city, you can click the first one and see other GDGs in your region. If you want to start a new one, you can apply. You can click the second one, and then when you click it, you see another thing called apply, and it will take you to a form which you can submit. And then once you submit, we'll take a look at the form. Then we'll talk to you to see whether how about that interest. And if there is already a community existing in your city, most likely my recommendation would be just join that community rather than start anyone new. Yeah. Thanks.
And there was a question about DSC chapter in the college as well. So if you would want to just add on top.
Yeah, let me finish it also. So yeah, so DSC application for this year is closed. So if you want to start a DSC in your college, you can start it this year. But next year, I think the applications will be again open by around March to April timeframe. So feel free to like submit. And then once you submit the application, we take a look at it. If you are qualified for an interview, you get interviewed, and after that, we select people. So that's how the process is. It usually around like 2 months long, slightly longer process. But yeah, for this year it's not possible. For next year, please do apply.
And Biswa, if I'm not wrong, it's valid for third year people or fourth year people.
Yeah, it's usually valid for third year people, but I think I would encourage still for you to apply. And it's valid for 1 year. You graduate after 1 year.
Yeah. So, is there any advice you want to give?
Over to Saurabh.
Why me? Am I good at giving advices? Yeah, I think one thing, if you're listening out to it, don't be in a pressure to just lead something just for the sake of it. I think we have said it again and again, and I think we keep hearing these questions. People think that they can only make a significant, impression or significant improvement in their life if they are just organizing or dealing with things. Understand what you're good at. If you think you're really good at leading or organizing, then it definitely makes sense to figure out a way to create a new chapter. Otherwise, just join an existing group if it's there in the city. Other than that, even if you don't get a place, if there is already some like chapter going on in your city, start a local community of your own, like for something which you like. There are tons of things which you would like to talk about. So I think that's one biggest advice I want to give. Don't be in a क्या कहते हैं उसको यार? What do you call that? Sheep. Don't be a sheep. Herd mentality. Don't be in that mentality because some people are doing it. Learn. Your first thing should be to learn and to give back, and that could be in any way possible. And this is basically because we're talking about community Pe Charcha. In your personal lives, we're talking about technical standpoint. I think be a full stack developer. It doesn't mean that you need to learn about all the things in one go. You can pick up different things at different point of time. That's been my mantra. I generally refer myself as jack of all trades, master of some. I strike that none. So, so I think expertise in a couple of things, but do know a lot of things, because not only it's beneficial while you're developing, while from your profile standpoint, it's also beneficial when you're designing something on your stack. You understand what the impact is on the other side of things. If you're writing a front-end code, you know that if I design it this way, then my back-end application or the back-end code has to be redesigned in that way. So that way, it really helps a lot if you know a full stack. So yeah, that's my advice.
So adding on to what Saurabh said, don't follow the herd mentality. Everyone has their own interests. So think of it like not everyone is a leader as well. So you could be a good speaker, you could be a good technical person. Like even if you're not a speaker, like there are many folks who are mostly into like creating YouTube videos, technical videos. You could be a person who is writing technical content, like putting on Stack Overflow, on like you are mostly into open source, doing GitHub contributions and stuff. So identify your area of interest, like what is it that you are like really passionate about, like what encourages you to do more and stuff. And not always that only if you are a community organizer you will flourish or you will do good in your lives or like create an impact. You can create impact through other mediums also. You can write blogs, you can do these videos, like produce these videos, high quality content videos. You can give talks, deliver talks in these community meetups. So just like that, we have this GDE program, Google Developer Experts. These folks are like not all of them are community organizers. There are a few of them. Like Raj is one of the GDE as well. They do beyond like Rich does beyond the organizing part. He also does like talks. He writes blogs, articles, and stuff. So that's one piece of advice, that find out what is it that you're good at. Not everyone is a good speaker. Some are like maybe good at recording or doing these videos or podcasts or like maybe writing. So identify your area of interest and then follow into that direction. Another one I could give out is like think of like some amazing work that you can do, like build your own portfolio of work, your projects and stuff, which is like other than that is already available on open source repository or some open source code that is out there. So think of like something that really helps others. I was like going through the comments and one person said that, hey, can there be a visual indicator that can find out like who is speaking at what point of time and like highlight them? So that could be like interesting project. And think of it like, why can't you build it instead of company like Google building it? You can build it yourself. I can think of an example wherein Google Maps recently came up with an AR feature where you just get like AR based identification marks. I remember one of my friend working on same concept at least like 2 years before Google released this feature. So think of on a larger front, what other good things you can do to help others. It's not always that it will get featured or get recognized, but it will give you a lot of satisfaction in yourself that you have done good. So think from that perspective.
Sid, that highlighting part was specifically for you because when you were speaking, it's not clear when you're speaking and when you're not. So just to set the context.
Thank you. Because
Back to you.
my internet. Thanks to my internet, because I live in a poor city, Delhi, which doesn't offer me.
Sorry, Sid, you were saying something, Sid?
Yeah. I was trying, but you wouldn't let me.
Sorry, Biswa, back to you.
But Sid's internet is like much better, I think, till like in my memory in general. Actually,
I think that has a lot to do with Vastu Shastra. I think because he's sitting and facing the sun today, right? You can see. So.
Oh yeah. I'm at my lowest place, so internet connection is good over here at least.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Of course. So, yeah, what is one advice? So I think like one thing, given that we are talking about communities, I would say one word which I really like and really admire is about loyalty. So I think like people, like I'm not accusing anyone, but people just like roam in and out of like communities nowadays, which is not a healthy sign in my opinion. It's like so people ask, okay, what is in it for me to join this community? They don't ask why. Like if I am getting so much, what do I give? Like what am I actually giving? So I think ask that because I think it's not a one-way street. If it is, if everyone thinks like this one-way street, we need like way too many bridge rats to do those communities, because these people are like selfless individuals who are doing it for like helping so many people. So this is not sustainable. So if people don't think about, like, because like for example, if Iron Man retires, there has to be another hero which comes up and steps up to be in Avengers, right? So we need the next generation of like community leaders to keep this culture of paying it forward. So ask that to you. Have that mentality also, give like be a giver in general, be a giver of everything. So that would be my advice.
Just a quick question, Biswa. Is this loyalty thing coming from your experience with your roommate shifting from supporting Liverpool to Manchester? Like,
Who and Manchester?
This was loyal.
Biswa is loyal. I'm talking about his like friends shifting clubs. He's like, why do not loyal to Liverpool?
No, my friends, most of my friends are also loyal in all spheres.
Wow, nice.
That was a very diplomatic statement.
Cool. I think before we move on, there has been some discussion going around in the comments where I think Abhinav asked about whether you should go for competitive programming or like real-time projects. I think I really want to talk it out because we do have the forum today. I just want to say that whosoever has that doubt, just keep it in the writing that competitive programming is just not for clearing the interview rounds. It is needed because it develops you as a person who is a problem solver, and the companies who are focusing on hiring problem solvers are the right companies to go for, according to me, because technologies can come and go. Pick up any technology, you would see they live in for a while, then they go away. The people who stick with one particular technology, who are experts in that, sometimes can struggle when the technology changes and the company moves their directions. So I think if you're a problem solver, irrespective of whether you're developing projects or not, you would be able to do that. So always keep that as your in your arsenal, and it will help, of course, in clearing the interviews as well. On the same hand, when you talk about project development, I think this should go hand in hand. You should take out time for doing that too. And eventually, when you will become like get into the industry, you would have to build projects, so you will learn that aspect anyway. And I think you can take that risk of like choosing competitive programming at the early stage over project development for that matter. But both are important. I'm not denying that fact.
Yeah, if sort of correct me if I'm wrong, you know better than me on this. So there are like three things. Whenever you join, like as a software engineer, right, you need to write quality code, which will have like less errors. You need to write it faster because someone is paying for you, and you also need to have a overall idea about the whole thing, which is called system design in general. So these are the three type of things they ask in the interviews anyway. So if I have to say, competitive programming focuses on the first two parts, like the speed of writing code. Also, at the like you need to write good code in less amount of time. While project gives you that idea about how to design systems, which you like, which is skill you need to acquire at the start. But eventually, when you become senior engineers and things like that, you move into that sort of work more. So both give different type of skills, and hence both is relevant.
Yeah, I think so. You kind of answered that while you were explaining. So I think as you grow older into the industry and you become like go at a senior places where you are deciding how do you design this problem and give other people to write that code. I think that's when you becomes important. And of course, like as a fresher, when you enter into the company, it's always good if you have that knowledge, because I think you will be shining apart from the others. That this guy can really solve problems and understand the like end-to-end picture. So in that aspect, if you have built a lot of projects and products, you would be really outshining. But I think right now, when you have to make that choice, right? If I have just limited amount of time and I can either go for project or for competitive programming, I'd say go for becoming a problem solver, because that organically becomes a way that you start writing better code, start building better projects in a way. And of course, you learn by doing. So I think as a college goer, I'd say while both are important, choose competitive programming. And in fact, you should, if you want to remain a developer and you want to switch jobs or whatever, competitive programming will remain one of the key things. And I totally support that, because the companies who are hiring problem solvers always do better, I feel, rather than looking out for a particular technology with this much of years of experience. I don't like that. It can be personal opinion. Sorry if I'm biased.
Yeah, these are all our personal opinions. Sorry, we should have said that at the start. These do not represent the opinions of our employer or our family members.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Thanks, Biswa.
And the disclaimer.
And
so moving forward,
Disclaimer.
yeah, we have few more questions from our fellow community members plus from your team. So first question is for Saurabh. Like we have seen you full of energy and activities. So do you want to share the secret behind this?
yeah, I have Ranveer Singh's poster all over my house. That's a secret. No, I think to be very honest, this it totally tells about. Actually, people are seeing me doing things which I like the most, which is like giving back to the community, talking with the developers and stuff like that, and teaching people something which is new in the industry. So I think the automatically that energy comes out if you're doing something which you like. So I think that's a mantra. If you don't like something, don't do it. You will, yeah.
And boost.
Saurabh adds the humor to it, to everything, whatever he does.
Sorry.
Saurabh adds his like part-time skills of stand-up comics and everything.
Right. I don't get to perform a stand-up comedy show anywhere, right? So I try to utilize the stage whenever I get a chance.
सौरभ बचपन में बूस्ट खाते थे आप?
हाँ, बूस्ट खाता था, कॉम्प्लान पीता था और बॉर्नविटा फेंकता था लोगों पर.
नहीं, ये मतलब कॉम्प्लान बॉर्नविटा का डिफरेंट होता है. कॉम्प्लान क्या हाइट वगैरह इंक्रीज करता है, something like that, right? Boost is the
secret of
my
my
energy.
I don't remember one of those things.
Right. नहीं, मैं बूस्ट इसलिए पीता था क्योंकि साथ में बैट या बॉल फ्री मिलता था. So
that was Milo, right? Or no, okay. Yeah.
So awesome. So next question is for Siddhant. Like, as you got married recently, would you like to share that how did you use your program management skills in your wedding planning?
I know from whom this is coming, but yeah, I don't think so. I use any of them. The only reason being my parents and my in-laws think they are better program managers than me. So they are like, we will dominate you and we will do whatever we want to do. You just sit and listen to whatever we say. So nothing. So I didn't use any of my program manager skills. I just like, so from a marriage, like everything happened in like haphazard way. Everything was too messy because the lockdown kind of lifted, and at the same time it was there also. There were rules and regulations changing almost every single day. So honestly, couldn't implement any of my program manager skills. I left it to my parents and my in-laws to like figure out whatever they want to do. Just let me know which date, which time I need to be available for what purpose. I will be there. That's it.
Siddhant, a simple answer could have been no.
I'm getting from Biswa. I'm getting.
I'm just saying, as soon as it comes down to marriage,
I'm actually taking inspiration from Biswa, so that's the reason.
No, what I'm trying to say is like as soon as you hear the word marriage, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
No skills work.
So
good job, Siddhant.
Yeah. So next question is for Biswajeet. So the Asian want to know, especially Saurabh, why you stop using Twitter?
Yeah, be ready for a 45-minute answer, guys.
And that explains why you stop using Twitter, right? But no, I mean, like, I think so. Yeah, to be honest, like I had quit Facebook 4 or 5 years back, I guess. I'll also tell you how I quit Facebook, and that also explains how I quit Twitter. So Facebook was like, I was scrolling one day, and like a classmate of mine was doing some holidays in Maldives, and I'm like, shit, yeah, like what, my life is so horrible, and this guy is having such an amazing time and stuff like that. So then, like, I think like you on this end, like infinite scroll, you just like you just like are addicted to it, and then one day I decided, okay, this is not worth it. Like my life is good, like, or whatever, even if my life is bad, I don't want to know what this person's life is, who I also didn't talk in my college days. Like he was like, I had some 1,500 1,600 friends on Facebook, and so like before I actually quit Facebook, there was a lot of like different steps, right? One day I basically deleted or unfriended almost 70% of my mates. Like I was that vanilla to do it also. I had like nothing in my life to do. So one Sunday morning I was like, did this. Even then things didn't become better. I'm not accusing of any platform for like messing up our feeds or whatever. But yeah, it was not being useful to me. Then I said, it's enough. So I just like did an experimentation. If I don't use Facebook, what happens in my life? So the positive impact was like I was able to read more. I was able to play, I think, more, and I think like a little bit of like sleep habits were better and things like that. So then I decided, okay, let me take a break. So Facebook had that thing, right? If you are, I don't remember, like you can take a break for a month or something, and then you can come and quit or something like that. So I did that. So I quit Facebook. Then I was also not on Twitter, or I had Twitter, but I was just like mostly following Liverpool accounts and things like that before I joined this team. But I mean, like I thought maybe so many people are on Twitter and on the developer relation sort of world, so maybe I have to be there somewhere so that people can do it. But then what happened, I think just before I quit, I started getting affected by a lot of things which happened just on Twitter. And many times I also found myself not behaving rightly. For example, I think there was like someone had shared something which I did not check, and that provoked me, that I felt this was like absolutely wrong, and then I retweeted it. But then a friend of mine actually pointed that out, that hey, this is not, I don't remember the exact news, but I don't remember, to be honest, but I can find it out and tell you. But yeah, so he said that hey, I mean, this had already happened, so this is not exactly the way you think, and so on. And I really felt bad, because I was falling prey to, I think, the things which is actually wrong with social media, that the concept of fake news, people spreading misinformation and things like that. And I was also being affected significantly by it, and I was not doing my due diligence to see which is right and which is wrong. And I think the amount of things you need to do due diligence in understanding what's happening on social media is a lot. So I'm like, okay, like this is not enough. And then people start like, I didn't have like, I think I had posted something on like on something which I really cared about. I don't want to say those things. Then I think people started attacking. Like I remember there was a couple of people who started attacking about your you as a person, because I think the things that you wrote, and I didn't know those people. I didn't follow them, they didn't follow me, and things like that. And I'm like, this is really affecting my well-being. I really like got affected mentally. Then I said, hey, I mean, like life is too short to handle this thing. So I quit. That's it. And I think since then I have been following. Then I had another question, that okay, how can I know things which are important, which are relevant? But I mean, I don't need to do a lot of work to see whether they are true or not. I actually read a physical newspaper every day since last 2 months. Seriously, and I have been following to. I don't go to like news channels websites. I follow a couple of like newsletters which are like really good. They are independent, neutral journalism, which I really respect, and I read those. Those are the two mechanisms which I get my information on. And I don't think I'm missing out on anything. Sometimes I miss out on things like, okay, this Binod thing really surprised me. I had no idea what this was happening. And in one call, I think this guy, like some people started posting Binod. And then I was like, okay, how did this come? So I'm missing out on social media trends for sure. But in general life information and other things, I'm not missing out on anything. Sorry.
You're missing out on my jokes as well.
वो तो already काफी मिल रहा है ऐसे ही, मतलब without being on Twitter. So
truly.
There are a lot of things internally already.
Yep. So yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that people should do it, but this was like my personal story. And in between, recently, like Saurabh and I should have a separate discussion about LinkedIn. I was actually thinking of like quitting LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has also become like crap.
I haven't used that platform just for that reason, that people send out tons of like messages which are not really useful. Like I've tried it out to answer, and then because you have your life to lead, right? And then you suddenly have thousand messages just saying, not replying. Like sometimes you just read all randomly, right? You just say read all because I don't want to answer. I don't have capacity. Then people start shaming you that okay, this guy is so weird, this guy is bad, and all those things, right? Which I'm not entitled to, right? Like I didn't sign up for that. I tried to help, and if I couldn't help, that doesn't mean I didn't want to, but maybe I couldn't at that point of time, and you should respect that. So I think that's one reason why I haven't been really active, and that's why I just keep saying that LinkedIn has a huge potential to do a bit good things, and people outside are really doing that. People are becoming good influencers. People are really sharing good thoughts and things. But I think people in India, they either want a referral, which is fine, which is understandable, but then you need to show your work, connect with us, show us your good work. Let us really go through your tweet, your feed, and understand how good of work you're doing. And then, of course, we would be happy to start a communication. If you randomly send me a ping, hey, can you refer me for this? It's difficult for me to refer you because I don't know your credibility. And Google takes it really seriously, right? The credibility of it. Plus, if you're just asking some random question, like I get requests of, I have posted my song on this, can you just like it? Kind of thing. And if you don't, you're such a narrow-minded person. Like I've seen everything in my life now. So you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, and I think there is like actual benefit of like having a. I'm not saying like I think the like if you can think about, and I want everyone to do this experiment. I think there are like ample amount of apps and platforms where you can see which app or which platform you are spending time on. Just see if you are spending a significant amount of that on social media. Maybe you can just like take a little bit of that and actually just spend it on family, friends. So those are the elements which you will really need. I'm not saying social media is bad, but having like a balanced approach is good. All right, sorry, long answer again.
45
Yeah, but
minutes.
it was 7 minutes. So this was a good job.
You were timing that, Saurabh.
Yeah, when I said like let's be ready for 45-minute talk, I actually noted that time. It was almost 5:14, 5:15. So
Yeah. I think my family members are like also acknowledging that I am doing this. So like many people are recommending that I should go for like do like be a professor or something. I mean that's my next
story,
stint. Like
Aren't
story of our
you
life.
for this one?
yeah. All right.
So one last question: what do you like the most about being a part of developer relations team?
The team itself.
Can we say playing Mafia or no?
You too, yeah, seriously, I miss it. To be honest.
Uh, I think the team itself and also like the community programs that we all work for, be it GDG, GDG Cloud, DSC, Women Tech Makers, or GDE, TFUGs, like all of those programs and the organizers out there who put in a lot of efforts passionately. I think that's what like gives us the energy. I think coming back to what Saurabh says, like what gives you the energy. I think this is what gives us the energy back. And that's what we really enjoy. At least, like I enjoy it. Part of I don't know about Saurabh and this wife. They have more of flavor food kind of a stuff or comic what they
No,
do.
yeah, two things for me. One is like what Siddhant said. Like I really like the best part about me being like the team itself. Like I really enjoy working with like Sid said, Nikita is also there, like lurking in the comments, and Saurav, like my whole team, Lakshya, Karthik, Paul, and everyone. I think that's one really. It's like just like we really bond with each other and we really like each other. Like it's that's one of the best part. Second part is I think like we also get to know so many people who are like really just amazing individuals, just plain and simple. They do so much and don't ask anything back. So I think very recently, if you, I mean, if we can find out that link and paste it here, that will be nice. But Santosh, who is like a web GD, he shared his story in a blog. Just like if you have 5 or 10 minutes, just read that story. It's like such a story, and I think after that I am just like I was talking to Siddhant, like, hey, we are so humbled just to know this person, like the kind of the kind of sacrifices, the kind of like journey this person has had so far in his life, fighting for the right things, fighting for his family, fighting for the values. So and I think like we get humbled seeing so many people doing that. I think Virij is here. I mean, all of many of you might know or might not know, but the amount of work he has done. I think he has a web template called Aura, which is used by so many GDGs worldwide, and like DevFest site also was created by that thing, and so many sites. So Virij's work has empowered so many other communities. Just like let that be a statement or a fact, and like really like that's another thing which keeps us going forward and keeps us really happy about it. So
So
this
he
as I said,
created,
people.
he created a template for even IWD 2020. He created a template for web.dev live India, and I think we just like replicated this for TFUG India Summit also. So it's something like which is just to be taken as a pride for us also, and like we are truly humble and thankful and super proud of the fact that we work with such amazing folks out there. Not just like tech experts, but also like good human beings
Yeah,
who let us.
exactly.
Bridge is, Bridge is trying to hide his teeth right now, but yeah, he wants to talk. There you go.
So Saurabh,
So I
would you
think
like to
I think
answer
yeah,
this question?
I think for me it's I think apart from what has been said, I think it's also about having that power to channelize or organize the right kind of knowledge or the programs which can like really streamline how you can learn or kick off your developer journey. Right. I think that gives me a real like what do you say motivation because I as a web ecosystem consultant, I work very closely with Chrome team. I work very closely with a lot of like companies and all, and I know that there are tons of things which are out there which isn't really known to these people out there generally, like to the other developers and stuff like that. How can we channelize that? A lot of people face that with that problem. Where should I start with? Where should I look at? I think with the kind of programs that the develop team creates, the kind of documentation, all those things, right, which develop team does, I think it's superb. So that gives me the thrill, man.
So,
Awesome.
Saurabh, you're speaking to Devrel now.
Uh, let's see, let's see.
This is at heart. This is liberal at heart.
Devrel,
Yeah. So thank you so much. It was an amazing session to discuss with you guys, and like I really enjoy. So over to you, Trishna.
So yeah, thank you all for taking your time. It was really an amazing panel discussion I've ever attended. I really enjoyed it. What about you? Let us know in the comment section. So, for the first time ever, GDG Jalandhar, along with 40 more communities from all across India, are joining hands for India's largest tech event of the year, completely online this October from 16th to 18th. And that is DevFest India. Yeah. Let me give you a small introduction about DevFest if you are not aware of it. DevFests are community led developer events hosted by Google Developers Group around the globe, where experts talk about different technologies in different fields. Do register at devfestindia.com and do join us for more updates at gdg.community.dev/gdgjalandhar. And finally, thank you to each and everyone who joined us to expand their learnings. And I hope that you all enjoyed the talk, and I hope that it would beneficial to you in every aspect. We'll be rolling out the certificates to the attendees, but for that, you need to fill the feedback form within 48 hours, which you will receive by mail today evening. And it will help us to enhance the events and the details which you share with us. It also helps us to provide you the certificates too. With that, thanks to each and everyone. Stay safe. Bye.